What's going on, guys? I'm Landon from Shoewear, and today we're checking out the New Balance Kawhi in this Moreno Valley colorway. Let's go. All right, so first, thank you guys for stopping by to check us out. Feel free to give this video a like and drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching. We would greatly appreciate that. But now let's go ahead and check out the box and the price for these before we get into the shoes. So sticking true to their form, New Balance does release these in a pretty simple white box, but I'm sure that is how Kawhi would want it anyways. He does seem to be a pretty simple guy, but they did throw a few kind of added details on there. So you're going to have Kawhi Leonard's signature that does run across that New Balance logo on the top in that kind of like metallic gold font. And then they get the same type of look on the inside of the box as well. And then you do have that phrase on the front of the box that says game speaks for itself. So that's definitely something that he seems to live by because, you know, some people in basketball, they love to talk and show emotion and stuff like that. And then some people prefer to just let their game do the talking. So it's pretty safe to say Kawhi avoids talking as much as he can, but his 5 All-Star selections and 2 NBA Finals MVPs, they do plenty of speaking for him. But moving on to the price for these, it's a little bit steep of a retail tag set at $160, but New Balance does kind of range on the more expensive side of the scale for shoes. So it will be kind of interesting to track his shoe line going forward just to kind of see if the price kind of hovers around that 160 range or, you know, if it begins to spike up a little bit more, you know, of course, with Kawhi being their only signature athlete in that line for the New Balance brand. But that pretty much covers the box and the price for these. So let's move on. All right. So before we look at the performance side of these, let's just kind of check out the appearance on these shoes first. So the first thing I want to hit on really quick is the Moreno Valley colorway for these. So this is actually a really sweet looking color scheme for these. It's kind of a little bit more personal than most of the colorways that are going to be out there. So Moreno Valley is actually Kawhi's hometown. These even feature the official stamp from his city on the tone, kind of paying tribute to like the city flag and the colors and stuff like that. So, and then moving down from there, you're going to be seeing a list of his accolades in the NBA, which at the time of this shoe was like 4-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and then 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. So it's pretty cool kind of how that makes it onto his shoes. But at the same time, it's still in a pretty hidden area on them. So it's not too flashy because, like I mentioned, that's not really who Kawhi is. I mean, even after he signed his $90-something million deal like a few years ago, he just kept driving around his 1997 Chevy Tahoe that he had in high school. So, you know, I can definitely appreciate someone who made it and still remains humble, especially, you know, in the world that we live in today. But let me know what you guys think about these in the comments, like just for this specific pair and colorway, because I think these came out really nice. I mean, you got that blue on there that's kind of meant to resemble the ocean water. And then the cream or like more the tan that's kind of meant to represent the sand from the beach. So I just think these look really clean, especially in hand. And then for my opinion on the actual just model design for these, I'm actually a pretty big fan there as well. So you do have the number 2 kind of at the bottom of that lacing setup, which is of course going to be the number that he wears for the LA Clippers. And then his signature shows up on the back of that heel near the top again. So you're going to have a New Balance logo that's kind of like coming out of the shoe right underneath that, which I like that part of the shoe. I think that looks pretty clean. So just like with everything on this earth, some people will like the look for these, some people won't. But for one, I think that these came out really nice. You know, I love signature shoe lines so much. Like I always look forward to seeing what kind of tweaks they're going to make on this particular shoe kind of going forward. But that covers the appearance for these. So now let's go ahead and look at these and how these shoes do for performance. All right, so for the last half of this review, I'll combine the materials, the comfort, the traction, just basically how these are to play in on the court. So starting off with cushioning, as displayed on these shoes, these have a fuel cell kind of foam making up that midsole. And that's going to be similar to what New Balance used in the Omnis basketball shoes from a few years back. But these do feature a full-length outsole shank for added stability and bounce. And that's actually the first time that New Balance has used anything like this before. They do kind of state how it's used specifically for like cutting and jumping movements, something that Kawhi Leonard and probably, you know, most basketball players do often, I guess. But with all that being said, these don't have like quite as soft of a feel as the Omnis shoes. So expect a little bit of break-in time before you really start to settle into these. Although I didn't really find it too uncomfortable or anything like that. And then now getting more into like the data-driven pieces and starting off with the upper. This is an upper kind of constructed with kinetic stitch and like thread application that's going to help control all your movements on the court. And that honestly really is the biggest selling point for these shoes, would be like the support and the stability for your foot. So you would expect that, I guess, a little bit with Kawhi being widely considered, you know, probably the best two-way player in the game of basketball whenever he is healthy. But these do live up to the expectations for support, no doubt. And then you can see like a variety of different materials used on that upper. But I did think it was pretty cool how they added like that suede feel up around the ankle and near the toe as well. That was a nice piece. And then jumping to the bottom of these, the traction setup is not at all similar to what like the Omnis or really even any New Balance shoe has used. So like I said, these do have like a data-driven traction pattern, and the grooves on the bottom are pretty thick, and they did hold up pretty solid for me indoors. And it's going to be a good shoe for both indoor and outdoor use, but I will say that they kind of start to collect dust pretty quickly, so you may want to get used to wiping them off every so often. And then I will say that while the materials that go into this shoe for stability and comfort, they do give you a really sturdy feel, it does end up making them a little bit on the heavier side, you know, at least more so than some other shoes. So definitely keep that in mind if like an extremely light shoe is something that's important for you to play in. And then to finish up with sizing, I went true to size and these fit perfect. These definitely aren't narrow. And then truthfully, I had just the right amount of room left over for my toes at the end of the shoe. So overall, though, the New Balance Kawhi, it serves to be a great shoe to play in my opinion. And although the retail price is all the way up at $160, I think these very well should be worth your money. All right, so that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and performance review on the New Balance Kawhi. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. If you're interested in purchasing these shoes, just check out the links in the description below. Also, be sure to click the link in our bio, and from there you can find our shoes that are available for sale on our website. And then you can also go ahead and head over to our social media just to kind of stay informed on upcoming sneaker releases. And then last, just feel free to leave a comment below if you like this video, or just let us know any other shoes that you may want us to check out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.